division doesn't get any love. I mean, the last time it got love was when Evander Holyfield was fighting in it.
Yeah.
That was really the last time people cared about the cruiserweight division. Now it's a forgotten division, kind of.
Yeah, that's true. My brother's just starting in the cruiserweight division. Hopefully, he can bring some excitement, to it, because you're so right. It's almost like they don't even talk about it.
It doesn't make any sense because the light heavyweight division gets a lot of love. People love watching light heavyweight fights. Always gets lots of attention. But the cruiserweight division is always like, people look at it like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Put on some weight. Go up.
Yep. It's true. It's true because the heavyweights always overshadow those guys.
Did you really weigh 209 the night of the fight?
I weighed 209 the night of the fight. I was
crazy.
When they came in and weighed me, we just want to get an official weigh in and see where you are. So I'm all confident and I know I done went up from 212.
Right.
And I get on the scale and it says 209. Like my mouth, I like, what? You mean to tell me I lost 3 more pounds? I'm like, how did I do that? My manager, he thinks it's come from stress and a lot of other little different things or whatever.
The last couple days right before the fight that
allow your body. Just overall, a lot of stuff was, a lot of stuff going on. He thinks is because of that, because your body, the balance of your body and all that and stuff like that. But I really don't know. I really don't really care about weight because majority of my the majority of fighters that have fought me, they've outweighed me like almost all my career, so I always say I'd rather be the part than look the part because I've been in many situations where I've seen guys looking the part, but then when it get to the nitty gritty, they're not the part.
Well, you look the part too. Let's don't get it twisted. Right. You look like a giant Tommy Hearns.
Yeah.
When Tommy was in his prime, it's just it's what makes sense though is that you keep that power in the 12th round, whereas those bigger, heavier guys, maybe because the blood's got to push through all that extra muscle and all that extra body tissue, maybe they can't keep that power the way you can because in the 12th round, first of all, I don't know how the fuck he got up. I do not understand. I remember watching it on TV. I'm like, wow, he knocked him out in the 12th round. That is crazy.
Right.
That is crazy. And then, of course, you played that thing on your Instagram, which basically shows that you did knock him out.
Right. I definitely knocked him out.
He definitely didn't get up in time.
Right. He definitely didn't,
But it was his job to just get up at 10. It's not his job to know exactly when 10 seconds is.
Correct. Jack Reese definitely had delays on that count. I've seen the fight like 6 times. And definitely when he got to 8, 8 was a very long delay. 8! Then he said 9. Like I said, 9 out of 10 judges would have waved that off, easily, especially when you've seen a guy eye roll in the back of his head and him hitting the canvas and his whole head meat penetrated, like it started getting tight. The muscles in his head is getting tight in the back, and but it's so much with that. I know how he got. I didn't understand how he got up either. And God is a good God.
Well, he believed it. That's what he believed.
He believed it.
Yeah. I mean, look, he got up, man, and he got up and he boxed well.
Yeah,
he recovered. You came after him and you hit him with some more big shots. Yeah. And he kept moving, but then he started getting his legs back under him, and then he started landing.
There's also other things as well too. He's still a gypsy though.
Yeah.
You they believe in a lot of things.
Yeah. You know that, right?
So
yeah, you never know.
Hey,
it was a fucking phenomenal fight, though, man.
It was epic.
It was epic.
I
was amazing to watch.
Most definitely.
I watched it by myself. My family was gone. They went out for the day, so I was like, "This is great, just me."
Did you watch it on mute?
No.
See what I'm saying? The commentators, man, they was horrible. Yeah. They was horrible.
Really?
I felt they was very biased. It was a lot of things they was pointing out what Fury was doing, but not a lot of things what I was doing. It just. Even when I knocked down in the 9th round, they had all this to say. But when I knocked down in the 9th round, it was so quiet. Yeah. And it wasn't even a devastating knockout. I was getting hit behind the head, but they wanted to call out me hitting him behind the ear. But how many times I got hit behind the head never was revealed. It was like even just this whole, build up to it. He sold his story. He sold his story to America. And, any comeback sport, it deal with emotions.
Right.
People got emotionally tied to it. A lot of people could relate to his story. Certain things I could relate to, and then when when you capture, the world, and you capture people that get emotional involved, they want you to win.
Right.
Just because of the story, I want them to win and stuff like that. And the commentators, especially Paulie, got very emotional with it. A lot of other casts as well too. Just going back, listening to them. I done saw the fight 6 times. I definitely had it. You can see a better look on the fight muting the TV.
Well, I listen to the commentary, but I do commentary myself for the UFC. So a lot of times, even if I'm listening, I'm not really listening that much. I'm just watching. I'm watching what's happening. It's like I'm having a conversation in a room with a bunch of people.
Right.
I was watching what was happening. What was interesting to me was you made adjustments. And one thing that you made a big adjustment is when you landed in the 12th round, you shortened everything up. You shortened that right hand up. It wasn't a winging punch at all. It came straight down the pipe, and then that left hand behind him, and the fucking timing, because he was already going down.
Correct.
You already hit him clean. He's going down. Then that fucking left hook, man.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, it was
that
crazy.
Was what was really crazy that he got up from, because you snapped him around like The Exorcist. It was nuts. When he went flying and then flatlined and laid back, I was like, it's over. I can't believe he knocked him out in the 12th fucking round. Because all fight, I was saying, all this guy needs is one punch. Like, you got that scary, creepy power. And then, boom! You could say that all day long, but if it never lands, it doesn't mean anything, right?
Correct.
But then it landed. And the way it landed was like, holy shit.
I told Fury, I said, you're going to have to be perfect for all 12 rounds.
Yeah.
I only have to be perfect for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
And
that's one thing that I did hear the commentators say. They said that he's proven that he doesn't have to be perfect because he got hit. But I was like, but he didn't get hit clean. He got hit one time, like pretty solid behind the ear. But the big one was in the 12th. I mean, I'm so impressed with both things, with you being able to land like that and with him being able to get up.
Right.
That was probably one of the best heavyweight fights I've fucking ever seen.
It was a lot of pressure on me that night.
I'm sure.
Just the heavyweight division has been dead for a long time, and then we started with last year or something. Just started really just progressing, and people started to talk about it. Especially been dead in America. I remember a time when no one knew who was the heavyweight champion of the world were. It was the European guys and stuff like that. So I always made it my business, like, I want to bring it back. I want to do it like Ali did, and a lot of the other former champions did it, where people knew and understand the sport of boxing and who was the champion and stuff like that. I always felt I had that duty to fulfill, even when I was in the Olympics, because a lot of people don't even know I was in the Olympics.
Right.
I was the only American to medal in the 2008 Olympics as well. And just from that point, I just feel like I had to be the one to bring it back. And to come to LA, to bring out all the stars, and like, I got everyone here.
And you medaled in the Olympics pretty soon, pretty young in your boxing career from the time you started training.
Correct.
Like, how long was it until you were fighting in the Olympics?
I made the Olympics team in a year and a half.
A year and a half of boxing.
I started boxing at 21.
You know how fucking crazy that is?
I know.
So a year and a half of boxing, you make the Olympic team, and you win a bronze medal. That's insane.
They didn't even have my name written on the list of the one that's going to be on the team. They always say I just came out of nowhere. Wilder came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I remember being in a tournament, and had this elder man. He's seen these kids like year after year after year, and I remember him saying, "Hey son, who are you?" I said, "I'm Deontay Wilder," and he looked at the guy next to him. I said, "Deontay Wilder. Where you from?" I said, "I'm from Alabama." He said, "Alabama?" He laughed at me, because they never seen no one from Alabama. We was based off of football and basketball and stuff like that. I was surprised it was a gym in Alabama when I did start. I was like, wow, like, I can't believe, like, I'm in a boxing gym. I never thought one would be here. We didn't do that. We didn't hear about it. But I started because of my daughter that was born with spina bifida. So, I couldn't play football or basketball anymore because you had to go to school for that. I needed money right now, so I was looking at a way of making money like right now. And, I had a friend in college. We was always talking about what we want to try to do and what are the things we're trying to do to get to that point, because, talk is cheap. We can always say what we want, but if you're not applying any type of action towards with your words, it's just talk. you know. And he said he thought I should box. He thought I should start boxing. I thought it was a great idea as well too. He thought I should start, but only for the simple fact that I handle myself well streetwise. You know, nobody ever seen me just lose or get beat up streetwise. I was this quiet guy. I tell people I never look for trouble, but trouble always found me for some reason. And when I did release the anger, when I released, like it was even back then was dramatic. You know what I'm saying? I kid you not. Even back then,
I believe it.
You know, and I could never calm down though. At that point, I was like the Hulk. I couldn't calm down. It took me a lot to calm down. Even if I would see blood, I still wouldn't calm down. And it used to be scary for me because even back then I had power, but I had a lot of aggression. I had a lot of anger for some reason. I never know why, and we thought it was a great idea. Like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. You know, I can't lose. What can I lose? You know, and just met up with the guy, went to the gym, up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I walked in there. I kid you not, I felt like I heard the bells. I heard the sounds, the heavenly sound. Hallelujah. I swear, when I walked up in there, it was just the speed bag and the heavy bag being hit and the conversations and then the guys sparring. And my eyes is everywhere. I'm like, this is it. I never been in a place like this before, ever. It's like new to me. And I felt like this was it. This is my last opportunity to be someone, to be a professional athlete and be able to make money for my daughter. I didn't know. I came in as a journeyman. That's what I wanted to be. I didn't want to, I didn't know nothing about amateur. I knew about Ali and what he did, his journey as an amateur, but I didn't know the term of an amateur. Like what is it, you know what I'm saying? So walking into the gym, my whole mentality was to make money for my daughter. I was like, let me learn just the fundamentals and just stick me out of there. But then we had this conversation in the gym about the Olympic trials and the Olympics. So I remember it briefly, like we started talking about, me and my trainer now, we started talking about it, and then it just became a whole big gym discussion. Everybody stopped doing what they was doing just to get in on this conversation. We didn't know how to get there, but we knew that if we kept winning, that we'll eventually get to that point. So I just kept knocking guys out. I just kept winning. And then that's how I got on the Olympics team. And then I told my daughter when I made the Olympics team, I medaled and did all that. And then I turned pro shortly after. And I remember telling my daughter when she was 1 year old, I said, Daddy going to be a world champion. He's going to be able to support you beyond your belief. For me, it meant a lot for me to say that to her because I come from a place for unfulfilled promises. You ever had someone promise you something and you wait for years and years, it don't happen? You still holding on to that promise that they told you, especially being a child, you still like, all right, until it just don't happen no more, or you see that certain thing that was supposed to be given is no more there. It's gone, you know. And that really hurted me, at times just coming up. That's why I'm a man of my word now. If I tell someone something, you can take it to the bank, it's going to happen. It's just, God is an on-time God, so it don't come when we want it, but it's always on time when he's involved. And when I'm involved, when I say something, I try to make it, it's going, I'm a man of my word no matter what I say.
So you walk in the gym, you have this feeling, you know this is where you're meant to be. Mm-hmm. And how far away is this gym from your house?
At that time, this gym, I'm still in Tuscaloosa, Northport, that's about 30 minutes. Probably about 45 minutes away from where I live.
Not too far. You can get there. And how often are you going there?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Immediately. New change of life.
Yeah, when I was still working for Budweiser, I was driving the truck for Budweiser. So at times, anybody work at Budweiser know that you got a specific time to come in, but you don't have a time where you get off. Sometimes you can work from 5 hours, depending on if you have a bar route, which is the easiest. And then you can have a 17-hour day, which I done had before, where you had to go to way deep in the South, way deep in other cities or whatever. I used to have a stop that took me 2 hours to get there before I even, 2 hours to get there before I even can work my first stop. And you talking about having 17 stops on your list to do. On your to-do list. and your first stop is 2 hours. You know what I mean? That was a hell of a ride just to be able to. It's depressed. It makes you depressed just because you got to wait 2 hours just to get started. You want to go home as soon as possible. I remember times where I used to drive the big truck to the gym. So you have a big Budweiser truck advertising Bud Light outside of the gym.
Wow.
And you'll see me out there. It used to be times where I used to sleep in my car right there at the gym. You know, I really wanted to get it. I told my daughter that I would be a world champion, and I was devoted to this sport, which I'm still is to this day. But it was a lot of sacrifices I had to sacrifice for my daughter to really just be here, to be able to support her with spina bifida, because I knew nothing about the disorder. I'm 19 years old, you know. Just trying to a loving father, just trying to support his daughter.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's an amazing story. That's a different kind of motivation.
Man, and then being in Alabama, we had to scrape up money to go to other states because we didn't really have too many heavyweights here. You know, so we had to go find sparring elsewhere. My trainer tells the story to this day, you know, how we had to scrape up, because you get a lot of people want to come apart, be apart now, whatever. He always said, "Where was y'all when we were scraping up the change?" And you know, we had to scrape up money for gas and something to eat and stuff, which is all true. You know, we all had to scrape it up.
Now, did anybody ever teach you to punch before you started boxing? Did you ever have an uncle that held pads for you or anything?
Nah, nothing. You know, I didn't know nothing about boxing.
But you definitely knew how to punch people, though.
Of course, for sure. But
how did you learn? Did you learn just from watching TV? Like, you know, like
just
a lot
life,
of times,
streetwise.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, the best thing in life is experience it for yourself. Life teaches you everything. You know, sometimes you can get knowledge from books, but it's nothing like real life, real reality.
So are you with the same trainer that you were when you first started?
I'm one of the few.
Wow.
Still with the same one.
That's amazing too.
Yeah.
So how long did it take before it started feeling right to you? Like in terms of like throwing combinations and moving and
It took a while. Because I had to in the Olympics I had to play catch up. I always was playing catch up, because these guys, they've been boxing ever since they was young. Little boys and stuff, and you know, that's how I learned really about boxing and how it would take your life away from you. You know, I'm looking at these young guys. They coming up, and some of them cannot go to school because of boxing. You know, some of them, they would tell me how they've missed birthdays, they've missed holidays, they've missed classes from school just to fulfill the dreams. You know, it'll take everything away from you. Now, I've seen some have graduate high school. You know, and that's a great accomplishment when you're in boxing to graduate high school, you know, because it's so many tournaments and so many different things, because boxing is a year-round sport, you know what I mean? So it's so many different things that would go on that these kids, you know, these guys would try to, you know, make this team, make that team, go to this trip, go to that trip just to get the experience. And I'm listening to them tell their story, and here I am, you know, just coming from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, just picking it up, playing catch up. I'm listening to everyone's story and where they come from and how they do this, and I'm studying them on certain things. Like, it was amazing to be able to just go to the Olympics and just do what I did and compete with these guys. I was the least experienced guy in the whole tournament.
Of course.
Of the Olympics.
How could you not be? A year and a half in, you're probably the least experienced guy to ever medal ever.
Yeah, probably so.
Who the fuck else has even come close to that? I bet if you went over the Olympic records of guys who have boxed and medaled, I bet you're number one with a bullet.
Yeah, probably so.
It's not even anything close. Yeah. That's crazy. A year and a half in.
It was an amazing experience just to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for boxing, I probably would have never been able to travel outside the country. You know, boxing showed me everything. You know.
Well, what's amazing is one of the things that you said, that the heavyweight division, which has always been the glamour division, right? When Tyson was the champ and Holyfield was the champ and all these different fighters, the Holyfield, Riddick, Bowe era. I mean, these were gigantic fights. I mean, everybody in the world was watching. It was a big deal. But then when Klitschko won, I remember I was on a plane with a buddy of mine who's a comedian, and I said, "You know who that is?" And he goes, "No." I go, "That's the heavyweight champion of the world." He goes, "Get the fuck out of here." He goes, "It's a white guy?" I go, "Isn't that crazy?" It's a white guy from Russia, and nobody knows who it is because it was a weird thing. It's like everybody in the Tommy Morrison days. People, there's always the Great White Hope. Dudes always wanted a white guy to be the heavyweight champion. Jerry Cooney, he's gonna beat Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes beat the fuck out of Jerry Cooney. I remember I was in high school when that happened. Everybody was hoping that a white guy was gonna win, and then when a white guy finally won, nobody gave a shit because he was he's got a very effective style, but it's it's not the most fan friendly. He would jab and grab. He'd grab a hold of you, and he could knock you out if he hit you clean. And he knocked a lot of guys out. And he was a big fucking guy, but no one cared. It was weird. It was weird that because he was a guy living in Germany, and he was huge in Germany and speaking Russian and English and everything else. I mean, he's a really smart guy.
Right.
Nobody cared. It was weird. It was fucking weird.
I know. I remember.